Over the course of the semester, we explored rhetorical history, theory, and practice. As a class, we sought to define what rhetoric is and then to determine what rhetoric can do in the world. In order to answer these questions, we began by studying the history of rhetoric in ancient Greece. We started by learning about the sophists and how their teaching of the art of verbal persuasion challenged the social caste of ancient Athens before moving to Isocrates and his emphasis on rhetoric as a mode of civil engagement and Greek unity. We then explored Plato's ideas in Gorgias and the difference between true rhetoric and false rhetoric or empty rhetoric. Next, we surveyed Aristotle's take on rhetoric and his notion of the artistic proofs, logos, pathos, and ethos. Finally, we learned about the Roman orator Cicero and his concept of the five canons of rhetoric: invention, style, arrangement, delivery, and memory, which he believed were the five necessary elements to construct a persuasive argument. After exploring the history and evolution of rhetoric, we researched more modern rhetorical theory and methods of rhetorical criticism through a nonprofit organization or social movement of our choice. The study subject that I chose for this semester was PETA, which is the largest international animal rights group in the world. I used four different methods of rhetorical theory and criticism to analyze the overall communication and rhetorical strategy of PETA. These methods included rhetorical situation, narrative criticism, cluster criticism, and ideological criticism. In my first brief analysis essay, I analyzed PETA's Canada Goose subway protest in response to their exigence of thousands of coyotes and geese suffering because of the company's products. I argued that PETA's use of the tight and confined space of a New York City subway car to create a rhetorical situation effectively and appropriately conveys their exigence as it places their audience in a rhetorical situation that is similar to the ones that coyotes are put in by fur traps, which will cause them to develop sympathy for the coyotes and stop wearing Canadian Goose products. In my second brief analysis essay, I analyzed how PETA uses a combination of satellite and kernel plot events in a YouTube video about veganism in order to co-align Waka Flocka's narrative of repugnance regarding milk consumption with their narrative of animal abuse concerning the dairy industry. In my third brief analysis essay, I used Kenneth Burke's concept of cluster criticism to analyze how Ingrid Newark, the president of PETA, uses key terms such as animals, vegans, and march in a speech she gave, reveals her worldview that humans are not superior to animals and that it is the job of vegans to help spread awareness regarding animal cruelty through passive, non-violent protest methods such as marches. In my fourth brief analysis essay, I used ideological criticism to analyze a commercial by PETA titled 98% Human. I argue that PETA's use of an animated primate in the commercial reveals that they believe that primates have the same emotional cognition as human beings and that the treatment of primates in the entertainment industry is criminal. Further, I argue that the commercial reveals how they believe that digital technology is capable of eliminating the criminality that comes with casting primates in Hollywood. In writing the long analysis essay, I chose to use my first brief analysis essay as my starting point. I expanded on my analysis concerning the effectiveness of the rhetorical situation created by PETA on the subway car in response to their exigence by researching moral shock theory. I explored the effectiveness of incorporating a moral shock into a rhetorical situation. I argue that social organizations that take a multifaceted rhetorical approach when delivering their messages by incorporating a moral shock into a rhetorical situation help to make their exigence more significant to the audience, and therefore their overall rhetorical communication more effective. Throughout the semester, I have developed significantly as a writer and rhetorician. I have learned how to not only research, but also how to comprehend sophisticated rhetorical theories and methodologies. I have also learned how to effectively use different theories and methodologies to analyze a multitude of artifacts through various lenses. All in all, my work and practice of rhetorical theory in this course has improved my understanding of how arguments are constructed according to purpose and audience, and what makes an argument rhetorically effective.